DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Inside to Stevenson, up against Kaminsky, Bucky good in the ball!
Santel, all the way to the basket, foul, lays it in for
2! Hey, high school basketball fans, welcome to another edition of the Upstate Hoops Podcast here on Monday, December 22nd, 2025. I'm Jim Sinacropi, along with Paul Russo and Kyle Evans here inside the FingerLakes1.com studios in Seneca Falls, New York. And we're just a couple days short of Christmas here. Merry Christmas to everybody watching. Also means kind of a strange, slow high school basketball schedule as we round out 2025. But as soon as 2026 hits, things really start to come into focus. But we do have a lot to talk about today. We got our new power rankings. We got to look at the games from the past week in the boys and girls Wayne Finger Lakes leagues. And we should probably get to it. I'll start with you, Paul. You called the Minders Whitman game. Couple of teams that I guess Whitman not expected to do great things this year, but a solid group that can continue to get better towards the postseason. Minders, one of the teams that has fallen out of or down in our power rankings after beating Waterloo. They haven't seemed too sharp, kind of a little disappointing maybe. But you saw those two teams face off this week head to head, and what's your thoughts?
Well, I think you summed it up pretty well. I don't know what to maybe necessarily expect in terms of postseason expectations or anything like that. I think Coach O'Connor and Coach Prane, respectively, for both would probably quell my expectations. That being said, I don't know if I'd want to face either one of these teams in a game that mattered if I were a team. The Minders side, when they get going shooting-wise, it's a bit of an avalanche. Case in point, our player of the game, team's player of the game, was Nick Mansell.
Yeah, great post-game interview.
He did great. We'll get that push on our socials here while we're on break here and everything. But he had a slow, and I'm going to tie this in with, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Terrico Blue Eye for Marcus Whitman in this deal as well. Both of them got off to really relatively slow first halves. Nick had 6 points. Terrico had 5. Both end up with 27 total on the day. But to go back to Mansell and Minders for a second, I mean, he had 7 threes in the game, really came alive in the third quarter. Jim, me and you actually saw it last year kind of firsthand a little bit in one game where he comes off the bench on that team was senior loaded for Minders last year as well. But clutch threes he hit. And he was able to do it again today, or Thursday, apologies. So I was left really impressed with kind of like when they get going and they're hitting the shots, they are going to be a really tough team to stop.
A lot of scoring droughts, though, in that game.
Correct.
So a little more consistency maybe.
That said, the Whitman side of things, Terrico Blue Eye is just such an X factor. He's such a great athlete, period. I think he only had like maybe 1 or 2 threes on the night. I can't remember exactly, but he does a great job at cutting and everything. And that team, I thought, did really well in the fourth quarter. They put a lot of pressure on Minders, and Minders, to the Whitman credit, did crumble a little bit there.
Yeah, they couldn't really quite close it out.
Yeah.
Well, they did close it out, but they couldn't.
Correct.
They made it harder on themselves than it needed to be, I suppose. So, yeah, and then Ryan Santia is looks like he's out he got injured in the game and then didn't play the next game. So hopefully things are okay there because they can't afford to lose anybody.
No, but I give credit. They kind of platooned a little bit there towards the end. I know Jacob Bodine came in and actually had a bucket in the fourth quarter on a turnover in that full court pressure that I kind of mentioned. And, yeah, like I said, I don't know if we'll see either one of these teams, obviously, at Blue Cross Arena or wherever we end up officially having sectional finals at the end of the year. But when push comes to shove, those final couple weeks of February and everything, I don't know if I'd want to see either one of these teams, you know.
And Kyle, you're monitoring everything on a nightly basis very closely. What stood out to you this week?
For me, it's just Geneva, I think, is still really good and at the top of the league. Lions, we finally saw them play Canada in East Rochester. East Rochester put up a fight with them, made it close, but you could tell they're better than both teams. They're definitely better than Gananda. And for me, Newark, is still there up at the top. Minders, I mean, they already have 2 league losses.
Yeah.
The Finger Lakes East is always tough, and I think it's a little down this year, but then when you look at Geneva and Newark now stepping up, it's going to be tough for Minders to overcome those 2 teams. So.
Also going to be interesting to see Mid-Lakes play one of those 2 teams as well, or Wayne, because Mid-Lakes with the win over Miners, I guess we can't call it an upset because we don't really know enough about these teams yet, but, interesting to see if, they'll be able to compete atop the Finger Lakes East.
Yeah, Mid-Lakes goes and beats Minders, but then, of course, they lose to Waterloo. So It kind of reminded me, I think we had some of those games last year where it just didn't make sense, and teams kind of rotated wins and losses against each other, and it made for kind of a chaotic finish. And who knows? I mean, even Wayne, you look at their record, they're 3-3, but they just came home from Florida playing some tough schools. So you can't really go by them until you see more league games.
I also think they're extra motivated here in Bill Thompson's final season here to send them out on a high note. But, we'll take a look at all the results from the week, release our power rankings, and then take a look at what will be a quiet week ahead. But first, the Upstate Hoops Podcast and all of our coverage of Wayne Finger Lakes High School basketball is brought to you thanks to the support of Little John and Barbie Orthodontics. Check out Dr. Rod and Dr. Liz online at littlejohnortho.com. And Cicino's Pizzeria and Restaurant, order online at cicinos.com. That's CICCINOS.com. And DeSanto Propane. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane. All right, guys, let's take a look at the full week here in the Wayne Finger Lakes boys. We'll start with the boys here. And, we did see Geneva handle Wayne, which was pretty impressive. We saw Palmac over Waterloo on that same night, and we mentioned the Mid-Lakes Minders game. The Lions-Gananda game that you discussed, Kyle. And then, Wayne went south to Florida, as they've done in the past few years, getting some sun, playing some tough competition. Tough to make sense of those games. The Bloomfield boys got a win over Dundee Bradford. That Lions ER matchup was maybe a little closer than we anticipated. And then Geneva handles Palmac after we mentioned Palmac beating Waterloo. And then Waterloo comes back, beats Mid-Lakes. Minders boys with a 15-point win over Waterloo. And Newark with a nice win there over Addison. Also, I should mention Sodas boys got a win over Williamson. And that Canandaigua Victor game's always fun, even though they're not officially in the Wayne Finger Lakes anymore. South Seneca plays what's almost a crosstown rival there in Watkins Glen, even though different section, and Falls. And I don't know which one of these games you guys want to talk about here. There was a few of them. For me, we're going to release our power ranking soon. Geneva and Lions are kind of battling 1 and 2. You saw Geneva with some convincing wins and Lions with some wins. It's tough to blame a team for not winning by enough, but it seemed like Geneva maybe had a better win than Lions, or a better week than Lions this week.
Yeah, I'm going to step back a little bit here and go to a game that you didn't mention.
Yeah,
Manchester Honeoye
last Monday night.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even mention Honeoye.
Yeah, that's, again, we mentioned it last week. A matchup we don't really see that often. Honeoye won 62-52 at home against the Bombers, and your leading scorer in that game, Braden Schneider, with 25. Landon Washburn had 21, so good stuff there.
They held Washburn in check.
Yes, they did. Well, a little bit, I guess. I don't know. 21's still pretty good in my opinion.
It's his lowest by far of the
No,
season.
which is the crazy thing. But
Maybe the last 2 seasons if we went back, he's usually so. But still, credit to Honeywell being able to find another guy to score and get the win.
yeah, Brain was another one on the team last year that kind of was. I don't know if he was like the second best player necessarily or anything like that, but either way. But to ER's credit, Judah Tanner had 22, and I know we'll probably mention them again here in a couple minutes, Kyle, with that Lions game, but. Yeah, the start off the week with that game kind of really – that was one of the ones that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, the thing about the Lions ER game for me is Lions was pretty much in control the whole game, up double digits. I think it was 14 in the third quarter as much as they led by. And then the fourth quarter, I don't know, something changed. ER kind of clawed back. I think they even cut it to 4 at one point. And then, they were able to close it out. And, of course, that's what good teams can do, close out wins, and Lions is good at that. But, yeah, I think East Rochester might be better than we think. Judah Tanner is really good.
Mm-hmm.
They have Justice Allen, who's another guy. They're both averaging nearly 20 points a game. I think Ganonda might now be ranked 3rd in Wayne County if I had to, kind of rank them in order. I still think Ganonda's good, just Lions and East Rochester might be a little above them. So
yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good rivalry, too, that Lions-ER rivalry. Going back to the days of Jim Boeheim, who lost to East Rochester at the Blue Cross Arena. About 140 years ago.
War Memorial. Let's get it
War
proper.
Memorial. Yeah, at the time it was the War Memorial. Sure. Let's take a look at the girls' week that was. And, what's standing out here, HAC, Kyle?
yeah, 5-1. Cadence Brecker, the senior at HAC, has been carrying the load almost every night. Nearly 30 points per game through her first 6 games, setting records, rebound records, 1,000 rebounds, blocks.
17 blocks or something like that?
Yep.
Who's keeping the book?
Record. Yeah, that's what I wonder too. If you're the scorekeeper, reach out to me. I'd like to have a chat with you.
Yeah, let's just verify that those are legit, because those are some big time numbers coming from the HAC Wolves. Is she a junior?
Senior,
okay.
1,000 point scorer, 1,000 rebounder.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Double.
That's a lot. Yeah, let's throw that scoreboard back up there. I saw, Lions and Clyde, which Clyde's off to a great start on the girls' side this year. And, of course, Lions up top our power rankings. They took care of business, was maybe hoping for a little closer game there.
Yeah, quickly, this game started out 20-0 Lions in the first quarter. So, I mean, I don't know what happened with Clyde. I don't know what happened with Taylor Carnivale, but slow start. They kind of picked things up in the second and third quarters, but fourth quarter Lions, pulled back away. But, yeah, you can't trail by 20-0 and expect to come back like that.
Not against a team like the Lions girls for sure.
But we'll have a rematch later in Lions, so who knows.
Yeah, you just get off to a better start, because as you see by the score there, they could they hung with them. They lost by 24, but they were down 20-0 to start the game. Yep. Bloomfield girls making a statement against the Finger Lakes East team.
They're in the East, though, again this year. So.
Oh, Bloomfield is in the East again this year. Okay, well, they're still making a statement against Finger Lakes East team, even though they're an East team themselves. The Whitman girls continue to win. Newark girls continue to win. Big rivalry, Waterloo-Pelmac in recent years. Waterloo sneaks out a 6-point victory on the road. Still trying to figure out, where this Waterloo girls team stands this year. Of course, they've been the class of the league for about the past 5 to 10 years. It seems like forever. And Lions girls took on Red Creek and got the win later in the week. And the Minders girls only put up 28 points in a loss at home against Penn Yan. So yeah, there you go.
It was a rough week for Clyde Savannah overall, but I know you mentioned Taylor Carnivale, but give a credit to Larissa Walters, leading scorer for the Golden Eagles in both those games. A couple tough ones. I mean, we're going to see in our power rankings, not to give too much away, but they were ranked last week and they were ranked at the end of last year, but went up against what was very clearly a very tough, at minimum, Williamson-Marion team. at the end of the week and drop that one. So, yeah, it looks like Wayne County for both has on both the boys and girls side have some teams to really keep eyes on here. I think in the past few years we haven't maybe fully been able to say outright, but certainly something to keep an eye on. Maybe it still is Lions at both at the top, and after that, I mean, it's going to be, I think, tough sledding.
Well, yeah, which one of these teams can step up and, compete with Lions either on the boys or girls side in Wayne County? It's been like that for a little while now. And then you got teams like, I can remember when North Rose Wolcott was in Lions was a huge game. They've been down for a while now, and they continue to struggle this year. So, and Sodus is another one. It seems like they haven't been great on the girls or boys side for over 10 years at least here.
Certainly feels that way.
Yeah. So, well, with that being said, let's see how it all shakes out with our updated power rankings for December 22nd, 2025. We'll start with the boys. And, a nice little graphical display there, Paul. I like how that looks.
Appreciate it. Still work in progress, but we're getting there.
We've got some other receiving votes, too, which is nice to let some schools know they're just outside of the top 10. But, Geneva Lions 1-2, Honeoye 3. Hey, Honeoye, man, that's great to see Honeoye get up that high. I mean, Newark might have something to say about that. They're coming in just 1 point behind at 4. Wayne, even without Cam Blankenberg, class of the Wayne Finger Lakes, Ganonda, Palmac. There's Minders hanging in there at 8. East Rochester making, I think, their debut.
They were in last week.
At 9. And then Midlake splitting with Minders and Waterloo, but they come in at 10. But let's talk about Geneva and Lions because we're going to be Paul, you and I are going to be at the Geneva Lions game a week from tonight.
Yes.
And that is like the game of the year so far.
Route 14 rivalry.
Yeah, to close out 2025 with a big one.
Yeah. Lions had the upper hand the past couple of years. Those games have been over at the community center in Lions. This is the first time down at Geneva High School in a couple of years. So looking forward to that one. It's going to be a battle literally for a spot in our power rankings. Can't ask for anything more than that.
Yeah, I mean, we make these rankings, but this is a perfect opportunity to let it get decided on the court.
And I think one of the overarching parts that even I've overlooked in anticipation for the game coming up, and we might be spilling over more into when we talk about what's ahead, but this is a battle of kind of like the cores of each team here. Both are kind of on their way out and graduating at the end of this year, so it's going to be really intriguing to see who possibly has less bragging rights in this rivalry for where they stand in terms of in-game stuff.
Yeah, important to note, too, Geneva, a bigger school, Class A, Lions usually Class C, which is a testament, I guess, to the basketball program at Lions.
Can I make a quick note on that, by the way? Last week I said Lions was in B2 again. They're back in C1 this year. So I don't know what's – we still don't know what's what across classifications.
Yeah, well, when we get into January, we'll start to talk more about sectional classifications and figure that stuff out. But, I know it's a week away still, but who do you give the edge to there? It's at Geneva. Jermaine Johnson's a lot to handle.
I don't know. I've thought about this. I don't know which way I'm going to lean. I can't make a prediction. Obviously, hopefully, it's just decided by, a couple points. Come down to the wire. That'd be great. Right now, I would probably say Lions is a very slight favorite. But I don't want to discredit Geneva though. I think Geneva is really good.
Yeah, I mean, it really is one of those situations where we're excited to watch, see what can happen here because it is too tough to call. Lions going to have to go on the road. There's a place that I don't know how many players on this Lions team may have played there before, but Lions has played games in Geneva. But certainly, I think Geneva less of a home court advantage than the Atwood would be for Lions. Yeah. And a much bigger court. That's the other thing. Lions is back at the Atwood this year with renovations of the community center. That court is so small. Then you go to a gym like Geneva, get the more regulation, full-size action. A lot of times that helps a team like Lions, though, that can get it up and down. But Geneva likes to get it up and down, too. And, I think top to bottom, really, really solid. Like I think that they're going 7 or 8 deep, solid basketball players.
Oh, both teams.
Experienced.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those interesting things to kind of maybe piggyback off of Kyle a little bit. Obviously, the past 2 years in this matchup, I would say Lions was for sure the favorite, right, going in. This year, I think this is more of like a pick game. I know you're giving the slight edge to Kyle. I think this is more of a true pick style. Take your picks on the without a line or anything like that. But
Well, I'm going the opposite way. Seeing it's at Geneva, I got the early line at Geneva -3.5.
I don't hate the home team mentality there.
Yeah, well, they say the home field court is worth 3 points.
True. Yeah.
Well, Caden Larson and Andrew Green are going to be ready to go for Geneva.
Yeah, Ireland. It's impressive what this group is done, and this should be the culmination this year. So even beyond this game next Monday night, I'm sure Geneva is looking forward to sectionals this year, which is always tough in the upper divisions for sure. So girls' power rankings. Lions atop of this one. Followed close by Newark, of which the program's really rebounded in the past couple of years. Waterloo at 3, but I don't know what is that? Just on the name? Like we haven't seen a lot. I guess they did beat Palmac this week. Tough to tell how good Palmac's going to be. Marcus Whitman girls. We'll be interested to see if they have any crossover games too, so we can kind of get a gauge. Bloomfield girls looking good, and then you got some Wayne County teams, HAC and Penn Yan. Like to me, that girls is we're still ranking a lot on speculation. I guess we haven't seen enough of these teams really be tested.
I think part of it's telling too. For those who keep note of the graphic there, we all had essentially the same top 10 just in terms of team-wise, but nobody else. And we'll see. I mean, the girls have a little bit of a lighter slate than the boys here over the course of the next 2 weeks. That's just how sometimes it shakes out.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's the exact opposite. I remember, I think, what was it, 2 years ago, the girls had like double the games the boys did over Christmas break. It just kind of depends who has tournaments where and stuff like that. But, yeah, at least on the early part here on the girls' side, it's one of those things where if you're winning, you're kind of staying winning right now, and if you're losing, unfortunately, you're kind of staying on the losing path right now. So I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. I said last week, really for me, I take the first couple weeks of January as a pretty big indicator of how things are going to go. Not so much these first few weeks of December.
Yeah, once we get through the Christmas season, and things, we settle in for a month and a half of pretty intense high school basketball action that spills right over into sectionals. So Kyle, where personally did you have HAC in your rankings?
I put them 10th. I think this is the first time I've ever included them. I get it, their schedule's soft, but I mean, they're 5-1. I got to give them credit. I mean, there's years where they've had 2-win seasons, 3-win seasons. Mm-hmm. So for them to be 5-1 in their first 6, I think they deserve to crack the top 10. Yeah,
I actually had them 7. Again, it would be great to see they're playing out of the Finger Lakes West. So we will see them play Marcus Whitman. And Bloomfield girls in the West. East. They're in the Finger Lakes East too. Man, that's a long drive.
Ish.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be. So HAC and Whitman are the only West teams in our top 10. I'm just trying to find somebody so I can see HAC play a decent team and we get a gauge.
It's tough. I mean, Dundee Bradford for me, I still kind of hang it on. Like I mentioned last week, for me personally, I'm going 15 deep from my side just so I can keep better track, clerically speaking, on my stuff. But yeah, Dundee Bradford graduated a lot of talent over
they were
last year.
Great run.
They're kind of struggling a little bit this year, so it's looking like it's probably just going to be that 2-horse race between Whitman and HAC, but we'll see how it shakes out. And obviously, I don't have the schedules in front of me for either team, but they'll see each other twice, obviously, in the course of the next few weeks. So we'll see how it fully plays out.
All right. Well, we're 2 days shy of Christmas. Or 3 days shy of Christmas. I keep thinking Wednesday's Christmas, but that's Christmas Eve, which is for some people the biggest day of Christmas, depending on how your family celebrates. But let's take a look at the next week and then some, because this is essentially a 2-week schedule, right? Because there's just not that many games. Canandaigua at Geneva should be fun tonight. Right? Today is the 22nd?
Yeah, tonight.
Yeah. Honey, are we playing in a tournament there? TBA?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Didn't see anything. Could
Yeah,
be low.
we don't know yet. Like the Section 5 site doesn't update.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so Honey, I will play twice over the next 2 days. We'll see who against who. Bloomfield going out of league to play Hammondsport. This is tournament action, yeah.
Hammondsport, yeah.
Yep, so Clyde will be in action. We don't know against who. Gananda Calmums could be an interesting game, but there it is next Monday. Obviously, we're jumping way ahead now. That Lions at Geneva game that you can hear live on FingerLakes1.com. And then moving ahead towards the new year and then past the new year, Newark at Pittsford Sutherland. Newark always likes to play bigger, tougher schools this time of year, so it's good to see that continue. Hornell at the Marcus Whitman boys. Greece Odyssey at Waterloo. There's oftentimes Greece Odysseys in that same section as Waterloo. Aquinas, back from Florida. Newark beat Aquinas this year, so now Wayne will have a shot. And then Honeoye Lions on January 2nd at FLCC, and that's a game that FingerLakes1.com will be at as well.
Yeah, me and Kyle will be on the call for that one. Looking forward to it. And, that one's another one that gets you pretty excited because we kind of mentioned the high-power offense of Honeoye, and let's face it, Lions high-power offense as well. So it will be interesting, right? I mean, we've seen Honeoye in person in the sectional finals last year. We've seen, obviously, a lot of Lions in person over the course of the past few years. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how this goes because, I don't know, part of me thinks, like, if you think the Geneva Lions game might be fast-paced.
Yeah, no, I'm just a little jealous. I wish I was calling that game,
That
too.
Honeoye Lions game might be even quicker somehow.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
It's the type of game we love here at FingerLakes1.com. We're not a regular on each team schedule, but Honeoye has one of the best teams they've had in years. Lions continues to have sectional championship caliber teams, and now they're going to face off here. What a great way to close out 2025 and then in ahead to 2026. So as far as the podcast goes here, we will not be back next Monday, but we will be back the following Monday, which would be the first Monday of January.
5th. Yeah.
The 5th.
Right?
Yep.
4th.
4th? No, 5th.
I got the 5th.
The
Yep.
5th?
Yeah.
What day of the week is that Honeoye Lions game?
Friday.
Oh, that's a Friday. Okay, so we will return on January 5th. Probably won't issue a power rankings update until then either.
Yeah,
There's just not
There's, like,
that
no
many games.
Yeah.
But when we do, it could be some major changes there with some of those games that we did see at the top. Geneva Lions, Honeoye, and some games on the girls' side too, which we didn't look at the girls. So there's the girls' upcoming schedule. Minders, chance to bounce back against Clyde. Now, traditionally, Minders does pretty well against the Wayne County schools. But like I say, Clyde could use a win after the tough week they just had. But then again, so could Minders. So that'll be a fun one to watch tonight. Palmac girls at Lions. That'll be an interesting game. That's a great schedule. They're literally about 12 minutes apart on Route 31. And Lions and Palmac never play each other.
And the brutal part about that, though, is it's Watkins Glen tournament for that game.
Oh, no kidding. They're going all the way down to Watkins Glen for that one. Huh.
And
Is there-
Pelmac's winless.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Who?
Pelmac.
Yeah.
Winless, 0-5.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe.
They played Waterloo kind of close last week, though.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they lost a lot.
Well, there could be that spot for Marcus Whitman girls that we talked about, right? They're in the same tournament with
Yes, so
Lions and Palmac.
if Whitman can beat Watkins Glen, well, either way, win or lose, they're probably going to play the winner or loser of Palmac Lions. Can you imagine if it was Lions?
Yeah. that'd be a sectional semifinal rematch from last year.
Yeah.
Well, interested. That'd be great to see. So all eyes on Watkins Glen on the couple days after Christmas, and then some more tournament action continues through the holiday weekend, including Marcus Whitman at Clyde Savannah on December 30th. ER at Lions will be a test for Lions, and then we head to the new year with Newark involved in some tournament action. And so there you have it. Kind of a light slate. We gave you 2 weeks of action, and there's less games on there than there normally is for 1 week of action when we give our week ahead scoreboard here on the podcast. So, yeah, it's exciting to have so many consequential matchups, cross-league matchups coming up in the next few weeks here. And then league play really gets into full force as we head into 2026. Kind of hard to believe. I think we started covering high school basketball closely on Finger Lakes 1 around 2011. So, man,
Wow.
it's been 15, 16 years now. So, anyways, yeah. Any parting shots, fellas, before we get ready to prepare for Christmas?
Well, hope everybody has a merry and safe Christmas or holiday, whatever you celebrate, Festivus for the rest of us and all that stuff. But, I'm really looking forward to the next couple weeks here. Obviously, for us, it's a down week, but not much you can do. Holidays fell perfectly in the middle. If you're a high school kid, you love these 2-week breaks. I know I did back in the day, so enjoy that. And, yeah, looking forward to next week, so it'll be so much fun. I mean, this is kind of like what you said, Jim. I think for us who actually, call the games and just watch the games and enjoy it, it's just one of those things where you can't – I don't know. We normally don't get this lucky until sectional time, right? When we do.
Yeah, it does seem like there's a lot
stuff like that. But man, Monday and Friday next week, throw us on for that hour and a half, 2 hours. It's gonna be.
Credit to the athletic directors, especially from Honeoye. Realize you got a good team. You got to go out there and play some better competition outside your league to prepare for the sectionals, and it makes for some real great, viewing for us. How about?
Speaking of, going outside and playing other competition, I heard rumors that this morning Newark boys were scrimmaging Lions, but yet they won't play each other during the regular season.
It's so ridiculous. That would be an awesome game. And you want to talk about neighbors, 2 minutes down the road there.
Yep.
They played once in the last 50-plus years at Newark. It's on YouTube, our coverage. We covered it live. It was quite a scene for that game.
If they play that game, I would have our equipment backpack packed in 3 seconds.
Yeah,
I'd be ready.
Yeah, it should be an annual game, in my opinion, but
and the crowds that they draw, it kind of remind you of Lions, Clyde, Savannah back in the day.
yeah, the atmosphere was
gym.
unbelievable for that one game that we did. That when they did play, it was out of nowhere, just a one-off, 1 year, and man, it was huge. It was huge, and it was raucous to say the least. But you can look it up on Finger Lakes 1's YouTube channel, and watch the broadcast. There was also a really nice intro we did that explained the history of it all. But still, I've been harping on that for years. They should play every single year. Newark doesn't want to put the extra sectional points probably up against a smaller school, and not just blaming Newark, but I think that it comes more from Newark than Lions and them not playing.
For sure.
But then Newark goes out and plays all these Class A teams, so I think it could balance. But it's the type of game that both communities would remember, the players would look forward to, the players would remember. When you're literally neighboring communities, you should play in basketball, right?
You would think.
So
Forget the points and just play.
Yeah.
Let's schedule one for next year.
So maybe we'll show up and broadcast the scrimmage.
I've watched stranger events. I know that. So.
Well, on that note, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Merry Christmas to everybody, to all those high school basketball players out there watching this. Enjoy those holiday week practices and And if you're playing in games, good luck. And thanks everyone for joining us on the Upstate Hoops Podcast. Connect with us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and our audio-only podcast is available most everywhere you enjoy your audio content. You can also find our show, live stream games, and local news, weather, and sports 24/7 at thefingerlakes1.com. So next time you hear from us, it'll be me and Paul courtside in Geneva for Lions Geneva on Monday night. And then after that, we'll be back here. The Lions Honeywell game will be the following that Friday, 5 days later. That'll be at FLCC with Paul and Nate. And then we'll be back here in studio. Oh, Paul and Kyle. Kyle's calling the game. Okay, great. And then we'll be back here Monday, 2 o'clock, Monday, January 5th. That'll be our next edition of the Upstate Hoops Podcast. Until then, happy holidays, everybody.